end, I'm sure. Back in the room here, Tony. Sorry, I was just asking there the question before we all. It might have been the question, to be honest. So to the current Sunderland team, which Sunderland player do you enjoy watching? Is there someone that currently stands out for you in that team?
On that one, it's an easy question to answer. In the sense, Degsy, I wouldn't know, mate. Because I was involved with coaching a little bit for youngsters, I couldn't make any of the games over a Saturday at all. So I haven't seen the current squad in any detail to be able to answer that question. I mean, for
Okay.
example, the last time I was down at the Stadium of Light was for the Coventry game at home that they lost 5-4. So, yeah, on that one, I'll have to pass, mate.
Okay, no worries at all. What's your current opinion about the state of the club? Do you have one?
I think everybody's got opinions, haven't they? Hey, hang on, yeah. Where'd you go with that? In the
Yeah.
sense that, or how do you get it to change? I mean, it's going to come down to the bottom line. Is going to be to once the squad's settled again, they get a squad, they get them together as a group, as a unit, as a club again, where everybody pitches it in together. Everybody's in the same boat. Manager, coaches, kit man, chairman, the board. They're all in at the same boat. I mentioned two clubs, and we always felt we were all together. Bob Murray used to mix with the players. We got on. The staff mixed with the players. I think it's going to need a little bit of rebuilding in terms of camaraderie, getting that feeling for the club again, where you go out and the supporters would be together on the pitch with the players, and you had that overriding feeling that ended together. And after a while, you get an invincibility about how you approach things. You start to go into games. You draw against West Ham in the cup, what we did, and you're playing at Upton Park with. You don't even go down there thinking you're going to get beat. You go down there to win. We got Chelsea back. You go down to win. All things, and it's going to take some building. There's no magic. I don't think there's a magic wand on this now at the minute. I don't think even you can splash cash at it, throw money at it. It needs bedding in, sticking together, gelling as a club again, and then slowly start. I don't think there's a quick fix to it. I think it's a slow build up back again.
Yeah, I think we've been trying to do that quick fix for such a long period of time now that we've lost our way. And like yourself, it's going to take some rebuilding, I think. So I don't know if we, as a fan base, I think we used to be patient. I think our patience have ran a little bit thin with consecutive years of perceived failure and difficult. So it's been one of those, and I think no matter what happens moving forward, we're going to have to again stick together and support the club and really hope for the best. Again, I've got opinions about the current owners and all that kind of stuff, and but I mean, again, that's not for here. I'm just ever hopeful that we can actually get ourselves back to our best one day. Certainly in my lifetime, and I do see, there's generations of supporters now that are missing out because if you think about what happened to Newcastle in '92 when Keegan came along, I think that's their rebirth then, and it got a lot more people involved. There was an impetus about the club in Newcastle, and they were doing really well. And we've had some periods where we've actually gone and certainly regained some of that market share. But over the last few years, because of how mediocre we've been, we're actually looks like we're losing a generation of supporters because it hasn't been entertaining football, and it just hasn't been. It's difficult now. Obviously, as you know, I've got a 7-year-old daughter, and she's actually stopped watching with me on the weekend now. So it's kind of and being in the States, it's hard enough as it is, but she just isn't interested because it's just hasn't been there. So, but fortunately, I mean, again, I've got opportunities to show back some of the history of the club, and that's what we've all been hanging on to as supporters. So I think you're absolutely right, mate. It's going to take, especially now, a lot of time, and hopefully some investment in the academy and all that kind of stuff too. Anyway, so that's I've gone on too long there. So anyway, as a player, Tony, what was the best advice that you were ever given?
Best advice as a player. I suppose my advice I took off other people would be predominantly regarding goalkeepers. Um, there's a couple of people I picked up little sayings that I took into the coaching. You know, things you probably heard, to be honest, regarding goalkeepers. You'll never. I think, who was it? Bobby Robson came out with it a few times during his time at Newcastle. I heard people say a goalkeeper will never save the ball with his eyes. You know, and by that all I mean is I used to come out when I coach and I see any young keeper accepting that the ball's going in by just standing and following the ball with the eyes, and they don't dive, and the ball ends up in the corner of the net. Now, might have no chance. You know, they might hope in hell of getting there, but it goes back to the saying, you'll never save a ball with your eyes. If you look at
Mhm,
it, that's only going to, you'll be ending up following it with your eyes into the back of the net. You know, you're never
mhm,
going to save it that way. Now, when I say go for everything, because you'll have seen it, people watching this now that have followed football over the years, they'll have seen the way, especially the modern footballs, the way they move. You can hit a
mhm,
ball full on. And that ball, not only if it's not spinning, the ball still moves, and it can move a foot, 2 foot, a yard. Now, if somebody drills a ball top corner, and you think it's like that save I was talking about when I went for it against West Ham, and you know you're on a hiding to nothing, but you go for it, and
mhm,
with the way the ball's moving, if you go, yeah, that you're in trouble. But if you go and that ball comes back at you, and you get a
mhm,
touch, and the ball hits the woodwork and goes out for a corner, and people say, "Whoa, how the heck have you done that?" And at the time, you're thinking, "I've got no chance here, but I'm just going to
mhm,
go." You know,
mhm,
or just you'll not save the ball with your eyes. And the other saying is advice, if you like, as the question said, is go
mhm.
for everything. Don't give anything up. Just go for everything. You know. So that's two things I've carried with me anyway.
Yeah. Well, I've got an opportunity here. Actually, Paulie has asked a sensible question for a change, so I'm gonna jump on this while I can. He's put on there, what drove you to become a goalkeeper? And he's put, in his opinion, it's the hardest position on the pitch. So, what drove you to become a goalkeeper?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I used to play. I used to play out. I like playing up front. When I was, for example, when I was at senior school, we were never um, we were never really renowned for a really great a football team, because rugby was the first sport. When I first went to secondary school, we did PE. The rugby ball
Mhm,
was out, you know. So it was when I played. We had a school match. I'd either play up front, or if it was a cup game, I'd go in goal. Bizarre, really. Um,
mhm,
but I just sort of fell into it. I ended up playing in goal for the primary school. The primary school county, or throughout the county, had a county primary school, and they had a team. And I ended up getting selected for that. So then I was sort of, if you like, the first position for any serious games, cup games, would be a goalkeeper, and
mhm,
that just went on. Then, obviously, for the friendly game in a senior school, I'd play up front, and I
mhm.
like that. Just like a goalkeeper at a football club likes playing out in the five sides. But why I fell into goalkeeping, I don't know.
Hmm.
I just one of them things. I didn't mind diving round. Um, I just took to it, and that was it.
Hmm. Yeah, cool. Kel Bell from Chicago has asked, was there any, what was your favorite stadium to play at?
Um, on that one, I think for reasons where it was looked upon as one of the achievements in any play had to be Wembley. I
Hmm.
used to I played there twice, and it was and it's still or it was at the time just one of them places you go to, and it was like the mecca of football, if you like. If you played
Hmm.
it, if you played at Wembley, that was the thing. So I have to say, playing at Wembley was, it was an achievement, and
Hmm.
especially an FA Cup final, that is a boy's dream. Out of football grounds, I can't really. There's not one. Anfield at the time. I can remember playing
Hmm.
at Anfield and the Cop, and
Hmm.
you read all about it, and it didn't seem. When I got there, I thought the whole ground would be bigger, but
Hmm.
it probably is now, to be fair. But there's little things that you get surprises when you go to those grounds. In your mind tells you a vision, and when you get there, it's slightly different.
Hmm.
So from other grounds, they are what they are. Great
Hmm.
places to, famous places, and you play them. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is you're going there to work. So a green pitch is a green pitch with one fella with a black suit on whistle. So the
Hmm.
rules are still the same. The grass is still the same. It's just the surroundings around the pitch that are different.
Yeah. So obviously, all the grounds that you've been to as well. Have you heard any funny chants or different songs that you can share with us? Is there something that's stuck in your mind as well for some other players? I mean, we talked the other day, obviously, about John Cage, which was a phenomenal one that we can't necessarily repeat online. But is there anything that you've heard from the stands? Any comments that you've heard from fans that have stuck with you?
Yeah, chant wise, I can't say I used to love this chant, you know. Otherwise, you'd be listening to the chant and the game's going on, you know. So, uh, but there obviously sometimes, even when you're playing and there's been chants going on, and I can't name any because coming to mind, I can't think of any, but there has been times where you're playing a game and you find yourself as the game's going on, it might be just outside your area and a chant going on, and you find yourself laughing because you can hear the chant, you know. So yeah, they just the sense of humour sometimes in football people is fantastic, you know. So
Hmm.
you remember it at the time, but having a favourite one, I don't. You know, I suppose the one thing I do remember is the actual feel of the ground. And I suppose I'm talking now about Roker Park, um,
Hmm.
because that ground had a feel to it. Not chance, nothing like that. It had a feel. When that ground was full or almost full, it seemed to hum.
Hmm.
If you know what I mean, there was a hum around the ground when we had a biggish game. I've mentioned this more than once, haven't I? The Chelsea game in the
Hmm.
quarter-final replay. That night, there was a hum around the place, and it was just you say you could cut the atmosphere, and you could. You know, it was never silent. It was just that noise, and again, you watched well, you did watch it. We watched the Norwich game before,
Yeah.
and that big bank of the Sunderland fans behind the goal, absolutely awesome. And
Hmm.
after all them years, you do forget what it was like. And I watched that today,
Hmm.
and the memory just comes hitting you, and the noise
Hmm.
that generated on that day and the atmosphere. You remember that. You remember the
Hmm.
atmosphere, and for that reason, you remember Roker Park, not for any specific chance, but from the fans supplying and encouraging that atmosphere at the ground. It was fantastic.
I will tell you as well, actually, being in the car, Paulie's just mentioned it there as well. I think Stevie's brother mentioned it as well earlier. The Cobb at Sheffield was actually shaking that day with the fans. It was the whole thing was moving. It was absolutely superb atmosphere, unbelievable. So one of my favourites. Your Liz has just been on as well, and she says, "Dad, sit up." I think you're slouching. I tell you what, your family like to pick on you a bit there, Tony, don't they? Good Lord, class. So, is there
Yeah,
anything? I mean,
they're trying. To be fair, she's got. To be fair, sorry, Degsy. To be fair,
no,
our
you're right,
Liz
mate.
has got a point because I've just become conscious of it as we've been talking. I
Yeah,
have tended to. I've got more and more comfortable in this.
hey,
I'll have a word with our Liz another day.
there's no wrong with being relaxed. It's all good, Tony. So, we've been on here for quite a while, so I appreciate your time. Is there anything else that you want to add, Tony? Anything else you can share with us?
Um, to be honest, if I started thinking about it and talking about certain things, you'd need till midnight because over those 600 odd games and 21 seasons of playing, 21 seasons of playing football, there's things. I mentioned John Kay before, not only for the way he was in the dressing room, but I said I ended up when I thought about him, I started to laugh because then you remember funny instances, and little stories that happened on your travels, and you spend your football team. You spend a lot of time in company with the same group of lads, and you get to know them. You might not be bosom pals with them, you might not live in each other's pockets, but you learn to work alongside them. And at the end of the day, you're all in it together. But what was merciless in football, and you'll hear footballers say it, once they finish football, I didn't realise I'd find it as hard as what I did. They talk about camaraderie, but the banter in a football dressing room can be absolutely ruthless, but it's funny. And you'd either sink or swim. If you couldn't take it, you may as well go and do something else. But it was great. It was given out, it was dished out, and it was taken. But it's what makes the season pass. The laughter of it, and yes, I could come out with, I could go, hey, do you remember the story about this? Do you remember the story about that? But I think the overriding thing for me with football is one, it was a great way to live. I met some great lads, fantastic. We had I saw some good things, shared some great experiences, and no, I suppose nobody, you can't take that back, you see. So it's something I did in my life, and you look back, but I can look back and laugh. And the boys were great. And you look back at my time at Sunderland, it's even Degsy. Some people watching this don't know I actually came. I came out to the States and met you and the other fellas and ladies, and it was fantastic. From another country, and you meet people. Me and my Philip were there 3 days, and I came back and felt like I'd known you for years. And great times, great career, and yeah, happy days, mate. Happy days.
Excellent, man. Well, Tony, I just want to thank you again. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time and service for the club. Also want to thank the viewers for tuning in as well. So thank you so much. All the people in the States, just want to wish the American mothers happy Mother's Day for tomorrow. And as I said, with all being well, we stay healthy and stay safe through this crazy pandemic. So, Tony, again, thank you so much. Always a pleasure, man. You take care of yourself and your family.
And you, mate. You take care.
All
Speak
right.
soon, mate.
All right. Cheers, Tony. Thanks, man.